So you've just missed a fairway, I know that feeling. And then from here, you try and chip out, but you mess it up. You don't get out the trees, you hit a tree, you go over to the other side, or you get stuck in the trees, and then instead of taking your medicine and making bogey, you end up making double, triple, or even quadruple. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get out with more ease, in a better way, and help lower those scores. So let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Danny Malcolm. We're here at the beautiful Western Australian Golf Club here in Perth, Western Australia. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to get out of the trees with more ease. But before we do, if you do like the content, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It helps get our content out to more players. And if you're interested in personalised online remote coaching with myself, please click the button below. I'd love to connect with you and help you with your game. Okay, so let's get into today's video. So you've just missed the fairway. I know that feeling, I've done it plenty of times, but from here, instead of taking the medicine or trying to take your medicine, you end up fluffing your lines. You might hit another tree, you might go over the other side, you might hit it too high into the trees, and instead of just making a bogey, taking the medicine, you end up with doubles, triples or quadruples, which just ruins the score. At the end of the round, you look back and you think, that's just low-hanging fruit. That if I'd have just made a slightly better decision or executed it in a different way, that could really help lower that score and lower the handicap. So we've found ourselves here. We've got it's a long par 4, a long way to the green here, probably a good 200 meters or so. But as you can see in front of us, we've got a fairly, a medium sort of size gap between the trees. We've got low hanging trees, want a scrubby, sandy lie. So how do we play this? Oftentimes when I'm doing playing lessons, I'll see a player take too much loft with the next shot. So in this instance, to try and chip out, they might take a 9-iron or a pitching wedge. And what will happen in that instance is it's just too much loft. So you're going to try and hit this shot and try and get below those trees, but oftentimes it's just going to go and get caught there in the trees, drop down, it's not got out, you're still in the rough, you need to chip out again to get it back onto the fairway. So my first thing would be to say is take the correct and appropriate club. So here you could be looking at something like a 4-iron, a 5-iron, a 6-iron, or even a hybrid if you have hybrids in your bag. Enough just to launch that ball below the trees. So let's say here, for example, let me get my 5-iron and I'll get that wedge that I had before. So if you look at this, if we just put these two down, for example, you'll see the launch of, that's my wedge, that's my 5-iron. Look at the trajectory of those. And so we've got to be looking for this club to try and get that ball under those trees and running down the fairway. Okay, so in terms of setting up for the shot, if we need to keep the ball low, there's a few things we need to adjust to give ourselves a better chance of keeping it low. Not only that, we've got this scrubby, sandy, awkward lie whereby we don't want to be hitting the ground too far before, because we'll just fluff it, it'll go nowhere. And we certainly don't want to be helping it up by any stretch because there's too much rough and things to go through. So we need to adjust our setup. So what we can do is hit it low. It's a very simple thing first, just put the ball back in your stance. So we can start to put this back towards our right toe. Here, as you can see, we can also start to get our weight a little bit more forward. So these two things, and having the handle slightly forward, is going to encourage a more downward angle of attack into the golf ball, which is going to ensure that you get the ball first and then the rough and the ground afterwards. So that's going to ensure a good strike, number one. But not only that, the fact that we're hitting down, it's actually going to lower the initial trajectory, which is going to give us a better chance of keeping it below the trees. So that would be the first thing. Ball back in the stance, weight forward, hands forward. And from here, we're going to make more of kind of a punch shot feel for this shot. So it's not a full swing. So we're taking kind of like a 3/4 swing on the way back. And as we come through, a much more abbreviated finish. So rather than making your full swing and all the way through with a high finish, which tends to hit us a little bit of a higher shot, we're going to go abbreviated backswing, 3/4, and then as we go through, an abbreviated follow through. And all that again with the pressure on the left side and the hands ahead is going to help us keep that ball low and get it running through the trees. So I'll just demonstrate that for you here. So ball back in the stance, weight forward, hands forward, 3/4 backswing, abbreviated follow through, and let's punch that thing out of the trees. So there we go, back in play, play it onto the green from there, 2 putts, take your medicine. Okay, so that's there for the actual shot to get it out. Now, even if you get that correct, oftentimes you'll see a player miss a line and they might hit this tree on the left or they might hit the tree on the right. Even though they've kept it below and they've kept it low, you've still got to align it correctly. So this is a wonderful opportunity to do what I call spot aiming, but doing it out of trouble. So if you can stand behind in your pre-shot routine and visualize the line that you want to go down, giving yourself the biggest margin for error between the trees. So I'm going right between these 2 trees where that last ball just went here. And I pick a line from there all the way back to the ball. And I know this, and in the rough you'll have plenty of things to aim at. Sometimes twigs, sometimes leaves, sometimes just dirty little patches of ground, of dirt there. So here I can see that brown patch right here, which is perfectly in line with where I want to go, and it's very close to my golf ball. So as I'm setting up to this shot, I'm actually walking in now. As I walk into this in a bit of a semicircle, I'm actually starting to align my club face to that the whole time. So I'm here looking at that spot, aligning my face, looking at that spot, aligning my face, and then ensuring that that is aligned correctly, because the ball's always going to start in the, well, much closer to where your club face is aiming at impact. Yes, there's other influences of course, but that's going to be the king. So if you can set that up in the correct position, then build your stance around that, now you know that you're aligned on a line that's going to give you the biggest margin for error to get it through those trees. Okay, so let's go through that again. So here, and even within your pre-shot routine, you can rehearse that feeling of a low punchy shot, ball back in the stance, abbreviated finish. Deep breath. Now pick my line, pick my mark on the ground. I'm stepping in, aligning the club face up to that mark. A few looks at that. Yes, club face is good. Build my stance. Ball's in the back of my stance. Now I'm looking at the target. Now I'm looking where I want to finish. I know I'm set up correctly. Keep moving, a few little waggles, and then we can pull the trigger. Here we go. And through. So that's come out to the other side of the fairway. Touch. Pretty good there, yeah, so got a nice shot into the green from there. And so that started exactly where I was aiming my club face. So that's a huge one. Even if you get the strike, even if you get the flight, if you don't get the alignment right with these shots, this is quite a big room for error here with those trees. Oftentimes the gap's smaller. Then it's so often you hit that shot and you hear that dreaded sound. It hits the tree, comes back to you, and you go again, and just a wasted shot. So that's my top tips. Change your setup, ball back in the stance, weight forward, lower lofted club, punch shot, abbreviated finish, keep it low, but then you need to aim correctly to get it out of trouble, get it back on the fairway, hit it onto the green, 2 putts, take your medicine, there's your bogey, move on to the next and hope for a better drive. So I hope that helps. Any questions on that, please let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.